You've already chosen your companions in the barzakh. Who are you walking with now? Because when the ground pulls you in and the dirt covers you, it's not just your family who has gone ahead that's waiting for you on the other side. The friends you chose in this life will be your companions in the next. Think about the faces you see every day, the voices you hear in your ear, and the chats lighting up your phone. Which part of barzakh are they taking you to, and which part of barzakh are you taking them to? Because in barzakh, there is no escape from the company you've chosen. You are with the company you chose here. Jamil ibn Murra says that Muwarriq al-Ijli was one of my best friends in this dunya, and he was like a brother to me. So one day I said to him, whoever of us dies first should come to the other in a dream and tell them about what's happening after death. So he said Muwarriq died, and then my wife sees a dream where he's knocking on the door to visit. So she says, I open the door and I tell him to come in to see Jamil. And he says, but how can I enter when I've already died? I just came to tell Jamil what Allah has done for me, just like we promised each other. So tell him that he made me from the muqarrabeen, those who are so close to him. After birrul walidain, when it comes to your connection with people, the most important relationships are those that are forged for the sake of Allah. Barzakh is where you connect back to the family chosen for you in dunya and the friends that you chose in this dunya. And while you had no choice in the family that was given to you in this dunya, you choose who your friends are going to be in the barzakh. You're the author of your barzakh, remember? So maybe you used to blame qadr for the family that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you. But who are you blaming for the friends that you chose? So look around you now and then look at your phone. The people you choose to spend your time with, that's who's going to be your company in the barzakh and everything beyond. Al-mar'u ma'man ahab. A person will be with those whom they love. This means we can expect to be with those we chose to admire or accompany, from our closest companions to the celebrities that we follow online. But think of all the punishments of the grave and think of those that are known by those sins that cause them or those that call you to them. Then remove those people from your life now so that they're not a part of your life then. You will be on the deen of your closest friends, so be careful who you choose to be close with. And even if your friend is a Muslim, are they at the level you want to be? You can either be lifted up by them or dragged down by them. And those that gather upon darkness, whether it's upon gossip or greed, will find that darkness in their graves. But those that chose to come together for the sake of Allah, like working on a da'wah project or feeding the homeless or standing up for justice together, or maybe studying the deen together, or helping each other improve in their personal worship, then this light that they gathered here will illuminate their graves together. Holding on to that friendship is as important as holding on to anything else when you're dying. And that's why Al-Bara ibn Azib radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrates that I was sitting in a gathering with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he said, do you know which handhold of faith is the strongest? Al-urwatul wuthqa. So we said, the salah. He said, inna salata hasana, wa ma hiya biha. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the prayer is great, but that's not what I'm talking about. So the Sahaba started to mention different acts of worship until the Prophet ﷺ saw that they weren't going to get it right. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, the strongest handhold of faith is that you love for the sake of Allah and hate for the sake of Allah. And just as a good friend will be there for you here in your hardest times, they'll still be making dua for you in your hardest time in the grave, if they survive you. And when we all make it to the other side, you'll hopefully find them once again right next to you. If those who love each other for the sake of Allah have pulpits of light on the Day of Judgment, then what do you think their graves look like? So do they meet and socialize with each other now? One of the companions of a scholar named Asim al-Jahdari rahimahullah says that I saw Asim in a dream 2 years after his death. So I asked him, are you dead? He said, yes, I am dead. He said, well, where are you? He said, I swear by Allah that I am in a garden of paradise where I and some of my companions go to the great Imam al-Muzani, rahimahullah, every morning and evening of Jum'ah. And I asked, well, do you meet each other in body or soul? And he replied, our bodies have decayed. وَإِنَّمَا تَتَلَقَّى الْأَرْوَاحِ. Rather, we come together in soul. And who do you most want to come together with? If you think of a best friend as someone who is there for you in hard times, who makes dua for you and who never forgets you, then who better than the Prophet ﷺ, even though you never got to live with him in this dunya? And that's why Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who did get to live with the Prophet ﷺ, when he was going through his most difficult test, under siege in his home, he goes to sleep fasting and reading Quran. And he sees a dream of the Prophet ﷺ with Abu Bakr and Omar, may Allah be pleased with them. And the Prophet ﷺ comforts him and affirms him. And then he says, Ya Uthman, aftar indana layla. Come break your fast with us tonight. And he wakes up and he was assassinated. I want you to think about this. Over 12,000 people were killed in Gaza last Ramadan alone. How many of them do you think broke their fast with the Prophet ﷺ? And if you knew that the Prophet ﷺ was waiting for you, no one else in the world is better company. And that's why when Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anhu was dying, his wife was standing over him and saying, Wa huzna, what grief, what grief. And he said, Bal quli wa farha, rather say what joy. Ghadan alqa al-ahibba, Muhammadan wa hizbah. Tomorrow I will be with my beloved ones again, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions. So you too long for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's company. But are the ones standing with you now helping you towards him or moving you away from him? And then imagine standing beside those who called you closer to Allah, ready to be greeted by the best of Allah's creation because you chose your company wisely. At that moment, you'll see that yes, the Prophet ﷺ will know you and love you. But will you know everyone around him?
لعلي أعمل صالحا فيما تركت كلا إنها كلمة هو قائلها ومن ورائهم برزخ إلى يوم يبعثون.
ဒီလိုမျိုးဗီဒီယိုတွေကိုကျွန်တော်တို့ Islamic Institute of Burma ကနေပြီးတော့လူချင်းမင်းတို့အတွက်စီစဉ်တင်ဆက်ပေးလျက်ရှိပါတယ်ကျွန်တော်တို့ Islamic Institute of Burma ကဆိုရင်အလူငွေနဲ့လည်ပတ်နေတဲ့ non-profit organization ဖြစ်တဲ့အတွက်ကျွန်တော်တို့ IB ကို support လုပ်ချင်တယ်ဆိုရင်အလူငွေထည့်သွင်းနိုင်ပါတယ်တမန်တော်ဆလ္လာလာဟူအလိုင်ဝါဆလမ်မိန့်ခဲ့သလိုလူတယောက်ကကွယ်လွန်သေဆုံးသွားပြီးတဲ့နောက်မှာသုံးခုတော်အရာလွယ်လို့သူ့ရဲ့ကောင်းမှုတွေကစီးစင်းမှုတွေကရပ်တန့်သွားတယ်လို့တမန်တော်မိန့်ခဲ့တယ်အဲ့ဒီသုံးခုကကျွန်တော်တို့ဆက်လက်တည်ရှိနေတဲ့အလူတန်းစတကာဂျာတီယာပြီးတော့တန်ဖိုးရှိရဲ့ပညာနောက်ဆုံးတစ်ခုကတော့ကွယ်လွန်သူအတွက်ရည်စူးတဲ့သားသမီးတွေရဲ့ကောင်းမှုတွေတို့ဟာစတဲ့အရာသုံးခုကသာကွယ်လွန်သေဆုံးသွားပြီးတဲ့နောက်မှာတင်းစီကိုကောင်းမှုတွေအနေနဲ့ဆက်လက်စီးစင်းပြီးတော့ရောက်ရှိလာမှာဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ Islamic Institute of Burma မှာလူရန်ချင်းကတန်ဖိုးရှိတဲ့ပညာတွေကိုတင်ကိုယ်တိုင်ကိုညီထောက်ပံ့ပေးနေရရောက်တယ်လို့စတကာဂျာတီယာအလူတန်းနဲ့မြောက်တာကြောင့်မိမိကိုယ်တိုင်အကျိုးအတွက်ကို Omar အတွက်ပါအကျိုးရှိစေမယ့်အရာတစ်ခုဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ Islamic Institute of Burma မှာလူရန်ချင်းနဲ့ဆိုရင်တော့ဖော်ပြပါဖုန်းနံပါတ်တွေကနေပြီးတော့ဆက်သွယ်စုံစမ်းမေးမြန်းလူရန်နိုင်ပါတယ်လူရန်ကြဖို့လည်းတိုက်တွန်းအပ်ပါတယ်အရေးကြီးဆုံးကတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ Islamic Institute of Burma အတွက်ဒူဝါလုပ်ပါဒူဝါမှာတတိယပေးပါအဆုံးထိကြည့်ရှုပေးတဲ့အတွက်အားလုံးအထူးပဲကျေးဇူးတင်ရှိပါတယ်Assalamu alaikum.